in the ether.
What do you see? Do you see someone with a computer and they have certain applications that have said, 10 URL links to all their different to-do stuff? Is that what you foresee?
How do you?
I was always wondering, because I'm like, you're going to have your accounting software, then you're going to have to go to your, or supposedly go to your right lead, or...
Do you use Gmail?
Yeah.
And you use Google Ads?
Yeah, just go.
You got 2 URLs?
Yeah, but, yeah.
No different. I mean, I see that in the future you won't need an operating system because your browser will, I mean, it doesn't make any sense that you've got a huge operating system that runs a printer driver and launches a browser, and that's all it really needs to do.
Just having this configured URLs for your different tabs and profiles when your browser starts up your way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It all depends on connectivity, doesn't it? Unless you've got a tube somewhere, you can't get it.
Sure, and it depends on electricity as well. And if you haven't got that, you can't use it. And at the end of the day, there's been a lot of criticism about software as a service because what happens if you're not connected? Well, how many of us here have businesses if we're not connected? I mean, I vaguely do because one of my businesses actually makes stuff, but we sell that stuff by being connected. So, I mean, it's absolutely a valid point, but at the end of the day, this is the paradigm that we live in now, and it's about being connected, and that should only get better. I mean, broadband in New Zealand is crap.
I work in Solomon Islands, and the tube's the size of a piece of hair.
Right.
And it gets fatter from time to time. So
Yeah.
it's pretty narrow.
I mean, there are challenges for software as a service startups in making their offering as tight as possible. And Rod was here on Tuesday, and he talked about the amount of time that they've spent getting their page size as small as is humanly possible. So that'll help as long as there's a connection. Valid point, absolutely valid point, but I guess we're seeing it's the way of the future.
The data problem is basically what you're always getting with this sort of product is that sure your pipe can handle this much data. As soon as you've got a file that is that much plus one, it starts.
Yeah.
But no one's doing software as a service in the cloud system that does movies. You can't edit a movie online. No, but they're limited by size to about 10 minutes. You can't do a full feature. For that sort of thing, you want a huge disk array sitting under your desk.
Yeah. I mean, for sure, there's limitations on what you can do under this model. Yeah.
At the same time, I mean, it's just a distribution mechanism to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And with browser caching and so on coming along, it's potentially going to be less of an issue. But the idea is that if you're living in the Solomon Islands, the likelihood is all you have to have is one pipe to the island, and you have some connectivity, you have some distribution mechanism. But if it takes a year for a ship to drop off your CD that you ordered from the States or whatever it was, then you're not going to be doing any more computing either. So.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing some cool stuff with Google Gears, online, offline kind of availability. So it's an area that is being addressed. Some other common features of SaaS. It leverages user communities. We see what's happened with TradeMe, and part of the growth in TradeMe as a software as a service business has been that it's leveraged its users to create this whole Web 2.0 user-generated content, the power of the network kind of thing. There's some dudes that are going to be out of jobs. Well, they're going to be out of jobs within the businesses. They're going to be having jobs within the data centres. The whole benefit, as I see it, of SaaS is that you don't need to be a geek anymore. It's a tool, and as long as you vaguely know how to use that tool, you don't need to know how to install apps. You don't need to know how to find out if you've got the latest release or whatever. You're just using the tool for its intended purpose. It's about user-centric design. Oh, and by the way, we were going to have 3 words to describe ourselves. Here, Seth forgot it, but I'll take user-centric design before anyone else does. And there's some financial issues. Generally, software as a service, you pay a monthly subscription rather than an upfront license cost, and then pay for any updates. So, from a business perspective, there's a bit of a benefit there in that it can all be expensed rather than having to be capitalised.
What about the micropayments?
What's that?
Micropayments? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's different models, and I think you'll see some development as time goes forward. Once the SaaS model gets kind of more robust, there will be some different things come in. Like at the moment, there's free SaaS, and then there's kind of pay for the month SaaS. But I think you will actually see people tailor their revenue model and their payments model based on what they actually do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think.